So you or my brother-in-law, which sounds so weird to say, but
It is.
I know you've been married for a while.
It's been a long time, yeah, 19 years.
I should have called you a long time ago to ask you like a tutorial what I need to be doing. We haven't got there yet, but
it's a learning experience. Once you marry one of the Novotny sisters, it's pretty much it's a trial by error.
we could probably have a podcast just off the Novotny.
100%.
I don't know if they'd want to listen to it.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. But it's okay.
I
It's
love
okay.
it.
This is a safe space.
It is. It is, and we can edit it.
Exactly.
No, but so what I love is that you are a business guy, and that I've thought of you. Actually, I think you even reached out to us about doing the podcast before, but I was like, that's perfect because we always have these conversations about the tire business, and it is completely foreign to me, but always fascinating when we talk about it. Because there's so much behind, and I think that's every business. There's so much behind the scenes that people don't know until they get into it. But the tire business is crazy. There's so much money spent on tires.
Absolutely.
And nobody even thinks about that.
No, not at all.
Discount tire and all that stuff. Like, it's a necessity. You have to have tires.
Oh, 100%.
So tell me, when did you get into the tire business at first?
I want to say it was 2000. It was right after I graduated high school. Yeah, it was right before 2001 I got into it. So probably, about 25 years ago.
How did you get into it?
A buddy of mine was working there, and it was his part-time job after school, and I was working at an oil change place out in Abilene, and the oil change place I was making $5.15 an hour, right?
Yeah.
And I needed a job. I needed to be able to pay my bills, which 18, what bills do I have really? Especially back in 2000, car payment was like $125.
Yeah.
But he said, man, we're hiring. I said, okay, cool. Yeah, sure.
So what business was it?
It was the commercial truck tire business.
Okay.
So I showed up and I met with the general manager there. His name was Robert Runyon, a man I have a deep respect for. And he interviewed me for about 10 minutes, and he said, when can you start? And I said, as early as today. He said, well, good. I got a job for you right now. And I went out there, and next thing you know, I was shoveling rubber dust from the retread shop for the rest of the afternoon. And that was my first introduction to the tire business.
Okay.
And it was intense. It was very, very intense. Not something that I had been exposed to before.
Yeah. And it's not like you were like always wanted to get into it. You just took the opportunity.
Hell no. Shit, no. It was supposed to be a summer job before I took off and went to school.
So that first job, what did you do?
I was just a regular old tire mounter. Just worked inside the shop. Didn't help any customers. I was like inside, they didn't want us interacting with anybody. And just basically a laborer. If, they said, hey, we need you to go shovel shit, you went and shoveled shit. You want to go load scrap tires, then you go load the scrap tires. Dismount, rotate and balance, stuff like that.
How long did you do that?
I did that particular portion of it for about a year. And then, but it wasn't just that was my job. In this industry, at least in the commercial tire industry, not your discounts, not your Walmarts or your mom and pop shops, but commercial tire centers, you pretty much have to wear 30 different hats. Just because you are mounting car tires that day, within the next 20 minutes, you're going to be mounting truck tires. You might be working on a backhoe. You might be loading scrap tires inside of a trailer. You might, if you have a retread shop on site, you'll be out there painting tires. Or helping somebody load a trailer. It's a lot more to it than just mounting and dismounting tires. So when you go to when you go to like a discount, okay? So you go to a discount, you go in there, you wait in line. Oh yeah, we get to your car in 4 hours. That's all they focus on.
Okay.
They focus on John Q. Public. In the commercial world, we're focused on John Q. Public. We're focused on guys that own 18-wheelers, guys that own 2 trucks all the way to 1,000 trucks, then dealing with the manufacturers and then dealing with ownership. It's a lot more encompassing than what a lot of people think.
So it's a whole different ball game.
Totally different ball game.
Because I think the general person will think of the tire business as discount tire.
Oh, absolutely,
right?
Yeah. I mean, there's like, there's a discount. Well, yeah, discounts like on Main Street. Yeah. We're in the industrial industry. That's the portion that I'm in.
And that's dealing with far bigger sales, right?
Oh, 100%. on average, where, a discount tire may do, oh gosh, I wouldn't even be able to correlate the numbers because I've never worked at one, but a retail shop where they may do $200,000 worth of business, we're doing 1.5 million in a month. And where, I do on the average of anywhere from $275,000 to $400,000 a month in business. I account for a quarter of that store. And then plus we may have another sales guy that he accounts for another quarter of that store. So then the house gets the rest of it.
Yeah. So how is most of the business found? Is it really just relationships, just like any other sales business, or?
Yes and no. It's built upon relationships, but at the end of the day, you got to go find it. Back in my day, I hate saying it like that, but back in 2000,
Bro, we're at that age.
we didn't have Google. Google wasn't a thing. I mean, it was a thing, but you didn't. It's not like you got on the internet and said, okay, trucking, I need to find a company that just hauls rocks or just hauls dirt. And that's typically the business that you want to go after because they're always constantly moving. Freight is fun, but you want construction because they always tear up something. Well, you had to go find it. So you're pulling out the yellow pages.
So you would go through yellow pages to find new business?
Yes. I go through yellow pages, talk to people, ask my boss.
You had to talk to people?
Yeah, you actually had to talk to people. Nowadays, I don't see how these young people do it anymore. I mean, they're sitting there getting on LinkedIn. And I had a guy talk to me the other day. We got a young guy, and I love him to death. He's a great guy. He's 25, 26 years old. And he actually goes out and hustles it. Before he was asking me, hey, man, have you ever hit anybody up on LinkedIn? I'm like, nope. I wouldn't even know how to broach that subject. It's like, hi, I'm Robert. Can I sell you tires? No, I want to go see you, or pick up the phone and talk to somebody. But that's what it is. 90% of our business is cold calls. You might get a warm call every once in a while, but at the end of the day, it's going to that customer, pulling up, setting an appointment. Sometimes you don't even set an appointment. Most of the tire sales I've done, I've walked in, hey, how you doing? You kind of do the deal, give them your pricing, shoot the shit, and you're doing business by the end of the meeting or within 2 or 3 trips.
So are you trying to find the owner of the business, or who is it that you look for to start?
If it's a smaller outfit, typically the owner. If it's a medium-sized outfit, you want to try and find the fleet manager or a maintenance manager. Typically, that maintenance manager is that guy that's out in the shop. He's turning wrenches, and he's also just happens to be a little bit better at math than everybody else.
Yeah. Now, have you seen the business shift now? Like, are you doing any new things?
Yeah, I've completely had to change how I do business. Before back in, between 2000 and 2010, you didn't have, I don't have it on me, but my cell phone, you didn't, a lot of people didn't have they had cell phones, but they're flip phones. The iPhone was still a thing. It was a new thing, but it wasn't like a big, massive thing where you were just sitting there attached to it, just sitting here just doing this all day, and TikTok wasn't around. Facebook was just coming around. Hell, people are still using MySpace. So you could go and you could talk to that person and forge a relationship, forge a camaraderie with those guys. They became your friends. And that's what you wanted. You wanted to become friends with that guy because you're going to buy from me if you're my friend. Yeah. And that's the mentality you got to have. It's not just, hey, I'm Robert Hasenak, I got a tire and a price. Yeah. Which, that's what it's come down to. So between 2000 and 2010, that's how you sold. You sold relationship-based. It still is relationship-based. But now I got about 4 minutes to gather your attention because of TikTok, because of Reels, because of Instagram, because of just the instant gratification. So I've completely shifted to where, and I get called a dickhead because of this, because I'll just go in and get straight to business because I literally only have about 45 seconds to, let's grab you. I got you now. Yeah. Okay. Instead before it was, hey man, what do you do for fun? You go out hunting, you look at their walls. Okay, he's got a fishing trophy there. He's got a couple of buck antlers. Okay, he's a hunter. So you're panning the room, which we've all been taught to do if you're in sales. Yeah. Okay, he's a golfer. All right, hey, what do you shoot, man? And you start that subject. Now it's business, and then you start to get to learn about what those people are into.
So is it harder for you?
Fuck. Pardon me. Yeah. Yes. 100%.
It's not a kid's podcast. We're good.
No, it is 1,000% more difficult because I don't like getting straight to business. I want to get to know you. Do I want to be your friend? No. I mean, well, yeah, maybe one day. And I have a couple customers that I'm buddies with. We don't hang out on the weekends, but I would consider them friends.
Yeah.
But it went from business to friends, not friends to business. And I still have some friends in this business that, I still sell to, but those relationships have been around for 20, 25 years.
Yeah. Now it's funny because in the fitness business, even when I first started, so I started in 2010 as just a trainer and then quickly went into management and selling memberships. And even in 2010, I mean, you got to think the cell phone or the iPhone did not become popular until it got introduced in 2009 or 7, somewhere around there.
Yeah. 7,
it was still new. Mm-hmm. Not everybody had it. So there's still a lot of flip phones. And for selling memberships, it was completely different. We didn't have Facebook then. So I can still say that.
Right.
I was still part of the generation that did not, in sales, that did not have social media. And, I wasn't too into the business then. Like I was just learning. So I wasn't dependent on sales to make income. Like I made income different ways. So I don't know the true struggle behind it, but I can only imagine like how did people sell gym memberships before any social media to where they actually had like, what do? You make flyers.
Yep.
And in my history of doing business and advertising, flyers have been the least effective.
Oh,
and I hate it.
Yeah.
Like door hangers, bro. Like, oh my gosh.
Just go putting cards on windshield wipers.
Yeah. And it's like somebody's by their car and you skip their car and it's like, what's the point?
Oh,
you know? But that was how it was done, right?
But have you, I guess I could pose the same question to you. Have you noticed a shift in the way you have to do business now?
100%. And I love it to where because I embrace the AI change, the new, it's different, right? It's still a struggle in certain ways, but you have to, it's just a different way of doing business. And I wasn't too far into my sales career when it was cold calling and no social media. So again, I never really learned much of that way, but I got a little taste of it at the beginning. I realized how hard it was. Yeah. I got most of my business referrals.
I got
like just making relationships.
Which is the way you want it. You want it by word of mouth. And I have that just because I've been doing it for so long. And it's like, well, hey, just call my guy Robert. He'll take care of you. But I can imagine like with what you're doing, I mean, I don't know because I don't know the first thing about the fitness business. But I would be scouring Facebook. I'd be scouring Facebook throughout Denton County and seeing who the bodybuilders are. I'd be going to bodybuilding shows. I would go to nutrition shops and, I don't even know what the nutrition shops are, obviously, but I would be going to those places and promoting myself there and working it out of, I mean, I don't know how your structure is, but go to a business, a fitness shop and say, hey man, you refer somebody, I'll toss some cash your way. Or, even on Facebook, hey, could I get a self-promotion? Could you come guest spot? Stuff like that. I'm sure you're probably doing that already.
No.
Do you need to be?
I should be.
You 100% should be.
Yeah, I was about to say you would do just fine in the fitness business. It doesn't even matter. Like you already got it down. But I will say, so that's a lot of the old school way. What I'm good at is adapting to the new school way. So, and it's really done us well. So Facebook, I'll tell you right now, Facebook advertising, which is completely different from the tire business, I'm sure.
No, not really.
But in our business, Facebook advertising has been great, and there's a science behind it. So I've been really studying it. And then referrals have been a big part. And then learning Google for organic leads.
Okay.
And, it's just all three of those. Now, if I put in any effort into what you're saying, which I know I need to do, it would, there's no failure.
Pay dividends, 100%. And it costs you nothing.
Yeah.
It costs you nothing than just having a Chat GPT or whatever the one that Elon has and just typing out a message, copy pasta, send it to that person. Hey, what do you think about coming and help me out? I'll flip you whatever, come train, just check it out. You
know how old you sound saying that right there?
Oh,
you're like, even the way you say Chat GPT, you can tell what generation you're from.
100%. I'm right on that cusp of Generation X and Millennial.
Which is, so you're like a natural born salesman. So I think it's great.
Oh, no.
Well,
I had to force myself to get into to where I'm at
which
now.
Is even more impressive because you have all the skill set down. If you can adapt to Chat GPT, which again, I don't know the first thing with tire sales, right? But man, I can just tell how easy it is for me in so many different ways for my business, for my personal life.
I use it. I use it. I do. I do. There's been times where I've shot an email to somebody, or I was about to, and said, which my grammar's pretty spot on when it comes to emails. I do write some pretty beautiful
professional,
emails.
so it's not the normal Robert talk.
No, it's not the redneck from Abilene, Texas at all. But I'll put it into ChatGPT and say, spruce this up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there was one where it actually worked, where I typed out an email and I was mad. Well, I was madder than a motherfucker, okay? And the guy really pissed me off. And so I put it into ChatGPT and said, make this snarky but professional.
That's great.
And I was expecting me to send this email, because I'll quit doing business with somebody. You make me mad enough, I won't do business with you. Because doing business with somebody shouldn't be hard. Why try and fit a square peg into a round hole? You shouldn't have to do that. So this guy it was heartburn, and discontent. Every time I saw his name on my phone, I was like, oh God, what's this guy want? It's always an issue. It's always a problem. So he sent an email, hey, I've got an issue with the billing. Okay. And he was throwing a comrade, a partner of mine, he was throwing him under the bus. And it really made me mad, because I'll stand up for my friends. I mean, I'll stand up for my friends all the time.
Yeah.
So I typed up the email, said, make this snarky but professional, sent it to him. He was calling me within 5 minutes. Hey, man, did I piss you off? I said, you kind of made me mad. I said, could you read that through my email? He goes, yeah, I kind of read between the lines. It seemed like you were pretty hot. And it's like, okay, so ChatGPT, yeah, it works. It does.
So you don't think he would have called you if it wasn't for the way you redefined it through AI?
No, because I'd like to think that I'm inherently a kind person, and that's kind of the way my email read, of just rolling over and showing my belly, I guess you could say. So I wanted to make my stance known, and luckily ChatGPT reworded it, just tweaked a few words, added a little bit of things, a little bit of moving parts, a little bit of a storm sauce on top, and sent it out, and I got the response I wanted.
Yeah.
We're not doing business anymore, but he understood. He can't talk to his vendors that way.
Yeah.
And that is a problem that some businesses have.
And that was your goal after you had enough anyways.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%.
Yeah. And so that's what people should use AI for, is the tool aspect of it.
That's
and
what it's
not
there. Yeah.
relying on it, not creating stuff for you and then relying on it, but to use it to better for other people to better understand where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to get a point across,
absolutely.
If you're trying to streamline something, make it, like for me, I thought over the summer, I'm good. I'm a good visionary where I think of things and I'm like, hey, I have this idea. I want to add value. I want to add this. I want to do this. I want to do this better. And so I do well with that, but I'm very unorganized. Mm-hmm. So if I didn't have help, I'd be chaos everywhere. But I know that. So with ChatGPT, I kept saying to myself and talking to the people close to me, I'm like, I need to figure out how to use AI within the business. Like, yeah. Obviously, I don't want to get Tesla robots to train my people. We're not there yet.
Right.
We might be getting there, but
you never know.
No. But our thing is like, I want to definitely keep the human aspect of training and personable services a big part of what we do. But I kept thinking, I'm like, there has to be a way. AI is going to be big with or without us.
100%.
And so I found a way to use it as a tool. So anytime a new client comes on board, we use it to build out programs, not to rely on it, but we ask the right questions. We know the questions that we need to ask. You got to have expertise and correct anything that might be wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
But now it's just like, I can sell any client for any of my experienced trainers.
Yeah.
Not all of my trainers are salesmen. So I don't know how it is in the tire business, but for us, I might have a really good personal trainer that does not know how to sell themselves.
Right. They have specific niches.
Yes.
That that they're good at.
Yep.
They know that they're good at, but they don't know how to convey that.
And they don't like it.
It's the same thing. I've got just within my area, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's 3 of us in the sales world. And I'm really good at truck tires. I'm exceptionally well at 18-wheeler tires. That is my wheelhouse. And why? Because when they fuck up, I can fix it quick.
Yeah.
It's fast. The margins aren't as good. But then I got my other guy, Aaron, he's one of my best friends. He's very good at OTR, which stands for off the road. And like big equipment, like earth mover equipment, he is fascinating at that. Watching him work, it's really something. He's good at truck. He's good at industrial, but he really excels at OTR. And then you got Adam. Adam's a green kid in the business. He's my little. I call him my junior salesman, but he's not. He's been very impressive, and I look at him like a little brother. And Aaron and I pick on him all the time. And if he does see this, Adam, you are still an asshole. But nevertheless, he's really good at passenger light truck because he came from Discount Tire. He's learning the truck world. He's learning the industrial world, and he's trying to wrap his arms all around it. So I completely understand where you're coming from, where you have a guy, you may have one trainer, he's really good at HIIT. Then you got another guy, man, he's really good at doing cardio or yoga. And then you got another guy who might be good at German volume training or, so you want to be a fighter. Okay, cool. I got a guy for that. I got an app for that, Yeah. So, stuff like that.
Yeah. And the way I was taught was you got to have all your trainers be salesmen, or if you want to be a personal trainer, you have to be a salesman for yourself. But I found a way to where I don't think that's true. I can have multiple trainers, great trainers, as long as I have the good culture, the good energy, the expertise. I mean, you can always have a trainer learn more things.
Right.
But as long as I have all of that at my hand, in my reach, I can just find the best salesmen that are good at convincing people that what we do is what they need and showing value,
right.
Then those people can give them work.
No, absolutely.
But the problem with that is when people are signing up, personal training costs thousands of dollars, just like tires, right? Personal training, it's not just, $50 a month. It's going to be at least $500 to $600 a month.
Oh, easily.
Or if they're going to buy a package, it's going to be $2,000, $3,000.
Yeah.
You want to be able to see what you're buying for $2,000, $3,000. So I've found a way for ChatGPT to really help our salesmen connect the new client to the trainer.
Okay.
So it's like everybody there's a way to sell a new client and then have that trainer connect to that client based off of AI. And
Gotcha.
I found that out within this last 6 months.
No kidding.
I've been really good at selling personal training myself forever, and that's kind of the foundation of where I've got to where I've got. But now I feel like I can streamline it to where, okay, our fitness business or our gym has really good salesmen and then really good trainers, and there's a way to connect the two without a big, what do you call it? A big disconnect.
Gotcha.
Because it's hard. I used to have salesmen that can train, and it's like, or sell, and then you sell this new client, and the trainer has no idea who this new client is, and it's just a big bad start to the program.
Yeah.
AI has fixed that for me.
Has it really?
Yeah, dude, it's great. I ask the right questions, figure out the right questions to ask AI to help me with this client. It creates a program.
Gotcha.
We double check it.
Okay.
You got to know what you're talking about.
I was going to say, because I don't mean to cut you off, but I have noticed that when I have used ChatGPT or just any AI, whether it's Gemini, the Elon one or whatever, and I've played around with a few of them, I've noticed that sometimes they'll tend to get off into the weeds a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't ask the right questions, or it'll get a little bit redundant. It's like, okay, that's not what I asked.
Yep. Before I used it, I wrote down questions during, I would have my own consults that I would sell. Wrote down questions. I'm like, okay, this question doesn't work. This question works. What are the main questions that I need? And then how do I double check the answers? I know fitness. I've been doing this for so long. I know nutrition. I'm not a certified nutritionist, but I know
But you know what you're talking
I
about.
know what I'm talking about. And I go back and then I research things that may not, I may not know something if I get a question during a consult, and I'll go and research and learn. But I put the important questions on there, and I use ChatGPT or AI as a tool.
Gotcha.
And I think the problem with many people, they're either scared of it, they think it's going to take their job, and they refuse to learn it and use it, or the people that rely on it, you can't.
In my experience, 90% of the world wants to just bury their head in the sand.
Yeah.
And they don't want to know. I've been doing it this way for so long. I've been doing it this way for 25 years I've done it this way, and I ain't going to change. There's still some things that I do back, today that I did back in 2000. I did a little tweaking here and there, like being unorganized. I'm an unorganized son of a bitch. You look at my filing system, it's literally on the dash of my pickup. That's not going to change. There's just certain things I'm just not going to fix. I know AI could help me. I know it could.
Yeah.
I don't want to change. I want to change.
Tiger
don't change the stripes. No, I'm staying the same. I'm me at the core. I'm still me. Mm-hmm. But learning to adapt from that it's a struggle for some people. Some people just do not like change because they get into the habits. It takes 21 days to create a habit. It takes 14 to quit that habit. Mm-hmm. I know if I went out and just started running every morning, which I can't run anymore, but I know if I just went out and started walking every morning for 21 days, I'm just magically going to start waking up. It's not magical, but I'm still just, hey, on day 22, I'm just going to start doing it, and it becomes a rhythmal cycle. And I'll get rid of this gut, and I'll start losing some weight. I'll start eating a little bit better, and it becomes a cycle. Yeah. I don't want to change. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I want to be a lazy piece of shit. So.
No, it's good. No, it's fun. You are who you are. And hey, if you go to therapy, they'll tell you at your core, and I remember hearing this when I went to co-parenting counseling with my ex. It was like, you are who you are at your core, so you can act like you're going to change, but you'll always gravitate back to your core.
Every day.
Which is important to understand. So if you're an addict or if you have trouble with certain things, you have to always fight.
Oh, 100%.
Your whole life.
We're faking it till we make it.
Yeah.
That's all we do. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing.
No, but, I love that we're talking about AI because it's so important, and I think... I shake my head at anybody that does not want to jump on board with it.
It's because they're scared of it, in my opinion. I mean, whether they're scared of it or they're not, they don't understand it. And I don't understand it. I don't know how they get to it. I don't know how they do it. There might be a person on the other end of ChatGPT that's just texting back to me, and I'm like, does this person think I'm a dumbass? What am I doing here? So, I mean, but it's hard to understand. It's hard to fathom that, and it's hard to believe that this little think box are cell phones, for instance. I mean, it's marketing research. What you're doing with your AI program or whatever program you're using is no different than market research. You've taken your questions, you've taken your 100 questions, you've tweaked them, you've dialed them down to 50, you've tweaked them some more. Now you have 25 hard-hitting questions. And you've used AI to do that. It's no different than doing market research and going out and taking a survey of everybody in your neighborhood and doing it like that. It's the same concept.
It really is. Yeah. Now, so did you get any of your skill from your parents? Were any of your parents salesmen?
No. My parents are government workers.
Were they good with people though? Because you can turn
absolutely.
relationships into somebody who's good at sales.
No, totally. No, I mean they were both government workers. Mom was part of the school district for, many years. Dad, he served Vietnam. He got out, became a civil servant for the IRS, and then joined the Postal Service. And he did that until he retired in 99, 2000.
Oh wow!
And no, not salespeople, salespeople at all.
What years was Nam?
68, 69.
69.
1 year, 11 months, and 19 days.
When did he go? So did he go both years?
Mm-hmm. Yep, he was there for 1 year, 11 months, and 19 days.
What did he do?
He was infantry. He worked or it didn't work. He was in 1st Cav, 2nd, and 7th.
Oh, wow.
He was there for the Tet Offensive. I don't know exactly some of the battles that he was in, but he was there in the middle of the shit. And the Tet Offensive was probably one of the worst ones.
Why did we go to war with them? It was all over bullshit, right?
It was over bullshit. I don't think anybody really knows why we went to Vietnam. There's a great documentary that came out on, I want to say it was Netflix. Netflix, Land of the Docos, right? But nevertheless, it explained it a lot better. We were so busy wanting to be Big Brother to the rest of the world, and we ended up going. Why we went, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, go back and watch it and go back and read on it. Dad never really talked about it. Yeah. He never talked about it to me. I met some people that he served in Vietnam with, and he did a good job while he was there. Saved a lot of guys. He got a Bronze Star with a Valor device. But you ask Dad about it when he was alive, he'd say, they just handed those out like candy. He took no credit. Took no credit for it. Didn't, and just never wanted to talk about it. He would actually talk to Whitney more than he talked to me about it.
Really?
Which is fine. You know, some people, you know, they can't do that. They can't talk to their sons about it.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I didn't understand it for a long time. And because of that, you know, it created some distension in the house. You know, Dad and I didn't particularly get along.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't understand me. I damn sure didn't understand him.
Were y'all alike?
You're a product of your environment.
Yeah.
So yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, you talk about your core, right?
Yeah.
You know, Dad was highly addicted to alcohol. You know, I mean, he was an alcoholic. He was addicted to smoking cigarettes. You know, I started smoking when I was 15. Yeah. I started drinking, you know, when I started drinking. According to my kids, you know, I didn't start drinking until I was 21. So we're just going to leave it at that. But, you know, tearing up the streets of Abilene, Texas, you know, drinking, driving, you know, just being a general miscreant and deviant. Degenerate, yeah, I was a degen. But yeah, I mean, we were a lot alike, and it created some problems. You know, he was headstrong. He wanted things done a certain way. Dad was a perfectionist. He was fabulous at math. You know, worked on his master's with McMurray University. But yeah, I mean, he was a different cat. He was a really different cat.
It's crazy because most people that don't get along, or not don't get along, but don't see eye to eye with their parents, it's always because they're the same. They're the same. Yeah. Same personality. And it doesn't mean the exact same, but they're usually the same personality, and they don't even realize that's why they clash.
It wasn't until my early 20s when I always respected my father. I always respected my father, because if not, I knew that, you know, Dad was never abusive. My mother was never abusive. And, you know, and I grew up in the generation where it was pretty normal to have abusive parents. You know, whether they hit you or mentally abusive. I mean, they were baby boomers.
Yep.
You know, Mom was born in 50, Dad was born in 47. Here I come. I was born in 81. You know, they skipped the Gen X generation with me.
Wow.
But it was a different household. Mom was very kind. Mom was very strict. Dad was very strict. You know, if I fucked up, then I got corrected. And Mom is a big proponent of, you know, if you screwed up, you got a direction, redirection, consequence. That's how it was in the house.
Yeah.
And then they stood by that massively. Yeah. So yeah, but to answer your question, it was you know, Dad and I were a lot alike. Mom and I are a lot alike in that aspect. You know, I got my kindness from my mom, but my dad was very kind too. He was very kind to everybody. Everybody loved Dad, and everybody thought he was really, really funny too. You know, and I never really saw him, you know, he wasn't the jokester. Dad was silent. Dad was quiet. He had a very, very small select group of people that he was friends with.
What about your mom?
Oh gosh, social butterfly. She's friends with everybody.
So hold on, is that where you get your jokes joking from?
Oh, 100%. She knew. I mean, but she wasn't an outright jokester either. I mean, she wasn't, you know, she was funny, but it wasn't the shock and awe that Robert Hasenak is. You know, I would say outlandish shit just so I could get noticed. I was an only child though. You know, so I wanted to get noticed. I mean, I wanted to be noticed by everybody. I wanted to be the most popular kid in the room. That was what my goal was. I wanted to be the most popular kid in the room without being the most popular kid in the room. Yeah. And during high school, I mean, your formative years in elementary and, middle school, because the schools I went to middle school was pretty rough. It was one of the rougher middle schools. And it was kill or be killed. So what are you going to do?
I had 1 year at one of those schools.
I mean, I'm a white kid that lives in a middle-class neighborhood, going to a school on the north side that is predominantly Hispanic, predominantly black. Wow. And I was a skinny white boy. I mean, it was fights every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm not equipped for this shit.
Yeah. You're going into a tribe.
Oh, 100%.
And completely foreign.
So what are you going to do, man? Boyish charm, that is what got me through. Yeah. Boyish charm, mildly good looking, that's what got me through school. 100%. That and being able to bullshit and being able to adapt and being able to be a chameleon and understand diversity. Yeah. That's what my mother taught me. That's what my father taught me also. And so it was definitely an interesting childhood. It really, really, truly was.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because sometimes we are resentful towards one of our parents, like I am towards my mom, 100%. But sometimes we don't think about their reality and what they grew up in, their experiences through childhood, through adulthood. So like when we talk about your dad, like what did he grow up through? He was a baby boomer, which is completely different. So his parents were in the war, right? I mean, his dad?
No, never served.
Okay.
Grandfather was an immigrant. He was an immigrant that came over. His name was Robert William Hasenak. Dad's side of the house was filled with nothing but trauma. A lot of trauma for a lot of years. Grandfather and grandpa or grandmother, they got married probably pretty young. I'm not sure of the exact times. Dad was born in 47. I want to say it was 6 years later. There was an accident. And my dad's older brother, Robert William Jr., he died in a farming accident at like 5 or 6 years old, and killed him. My grandfather killed him. Ran him over with a tractor. Oh, wow. At least that's the stories that I heard. I can't confirm it because back then there wasn't any news articles. I mean, Dad was born in a farmhouse in Rowena, Texas, a little bit outside of San Angelo. So I mean, there wasn't anything like Google now or AI. I mean, I could research it, and I have. And I've researched it. I've seen the gravestone. It's a little daunting. It's a little freaking out when you see your name on a headstone, Robert Hasenak, and it's like, oh, that's a little fucking weird, you know? But then shortly thereafter, about 3 years later, my grandfather died, and there's speculation that of what happened there, whether he fell off the tractor and actually ran over himself, or if he committed suicide. I don't know. But there's been a lot of trauma in the family. For that, and it's very sad. It's very, very sad. And on that side of the family also, there was a lot of greed as well. It still is to this day, in my opinion. But that's another story for another day.
There is in every family.
Oh, there is, man. And hear me say these words. Every family has their level of dysfunctionality. Uh-huh. Every family does. It just depends on how you manage that. So with that said, that's what Dad dealt with. I mean, Dad grew up kind of, I want to say poor. I mean, but I don't know. They never talked finances with me. They just said, go exist. You know, I mean, I wasn't part of the latchkey kid generation, but I was a latchkey kid. I was walking myself home when I was in the first grade. In elementary school, across a busy street from a crosswalk, and I'd sit there and just park my ass because my mom worked. And my dad worked, but my dad was a letter carrier, and he delivered the mail to my house, which was a good thing and a bad thing too. But because sometimes that was back when they mailed report cards. So he'd catch my report card and be like, dude, you kind of screwed up here. I was like, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, he grew up that way. He had a brother and a sister, had a sister, had a brother that died. Then a grandmother remarried and got married to an Air Force guy, and he got stationed over in Spain and France. So next thing you know, you got this little West Texas family unit that's now over in Europe.
Oh, wow.
And that's all I knew about it. Dad was kind of a track star in high school. Eventually they came back to the States and moved back to the San Angelo area or Abilene. And he was kind of a track star, and there's not a lot of stories about Dad before Vietnam. I only knew Dad after Vietnam. But from what I've been told, I am my father.
Yeah.
I am my father if he wouldn't have gone to Vietnam. Everybody knew him. He's a good-looking guy, great-looking guy, all the girls loved him. All the guys loved him. Thought he was just a great man about town.
All the girls love you, Robert?
Shit. Well, I got one that loves me. I got one that matters that loves me. That's all that matters. But I would say that is what I've been told, is you are your father. And I've been told that privately by quite a few people. What you are now is your dad before Vietnam. Vietnam changed Dad. He was not the same. He was quiet. He was silent. I resented my father. I resented him for a long time. He checked out. He checked out when I needed him the most. And I made that well known. I mean, from 13 to probably about 20, I didn't talk to him. He was
13, so right when you hit puberty.
Right when I hit the shit. You know, I mean, I'm trying to figure girls out. I'm trying to figure myself out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out who I am. I'm trying to figure out what the world's about. You know, there's girls involved now. I've got friends. You know, you're fighting. You got all this testosterone going on. And we had the talk. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not like we just didn't speak, but it was surface level shit.
Yeah.
You know, but Dad taught me how to hunt. He taught me how to fish. I mean, he taught me how to tie knots, how to do basic carpentry, how to weld. You know, I mean, he taught me stuff. Don't get me wrong. But as far as like really getting in there and knowing him,
The emotional part.
Yeah. I relied upon my mother. And whether that did a disservice to me or not, I don't know. I think it made me a little bit more compassionate versus what my father was, because Dad, you know, is his way or the highway.
Well, it probably reflects more on your kids now. So you're probably way more emotionally involved in your kids, right?
I am. We stay on top of them. You know, my parents, they rode me, but they didn't ride me the right way. Yeah. When I say that, they didn't stay on top of me like they probably should have. No fault of their own. I mean, I've said this to my mother before, and I've said it to a lot of parents. You deal with the cards that you're dealt, and you are as good as the tools that you have. And if you don't have the tools, then you don't have the tools. You know, I didn't grow up with a grandfather. I didn't have any of that. I had dad and I had mom. I had a couple of uncles, but shit, my uncle lived in Houston.
Yeah.
I had my Uncle Grant, who I had a deep, deep respect for, but he died, gosh, when I was still in high school. So, you know, I didn't really have that elderly father figure that I could really lean on and rely upon. So I just kind of relied upon my friends, and that's why my friends were extremely important to me. But I also grew up in that generation where don't come home till the lights come on.
Yeah.
You know, when the street lights come on, that's when you can come home.
Yeah. Do you think so back then, so in your dad's generation, my dad's generation, obviously they did not talk about therapy as much as they do now. Like that's the chicken shit, right? Now today it's a little bit more accepting and people are more aware. So back then it's almost like they did not understand that the trauma that they faced in childhood was affecting them, where we do a little bit more in our generation. We're like, okay, my parents were this way, so we're going to be this way. We're going to fight and be this way towards our kids.
But you still go back to your core.
Yeah.
You still always go back to your core. No, I not with my parents. I mean, I got put into therapy when I was probably about 11 or 12. You know, I had an episode where mom was kind of concerned and kind of worried about me. And so she tossed my ass in therapy, which is fine. It worked, I guess.
But what about them is what I'm saying is they never, I don't think any of their generation went to therapy.
No, it was suck it up and deal with it. I mean, if mom went to therapy, I never knew about it. Dad went to therapy after the fact when he was dealing with the VA and PTSD. He had to go. He was forced to go.
When you were older.
When I was way older. Oh, yeah. But back then, like
but
growing
when
up.
he was growing up.
No. But it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't readily, it was available, but it wasn't
talked about.
It's not what you did. Yeah. You didn't do that. You were, if you were a man and you went to therapy, bro, you're looked at weird. What are you, gay or something? You know, I mean, you want to talk about your feelings? Be a man. I mean, but that's the way it was. You know, I mean, Dad grew up in the 50s and the 60s. In the 70s, after Vietnam, I mean, PTSD was literally just touched on. And now, I mean, I don't know just a lot of guys that have served, but I'm sure therapy has helped them get over that PTSD hump. But again, I can't speak for them and I don't know. Yeah. I've never experienced anything like that. The only trauma that I can speak to is the trauma that I've been dealt.
Yeah.
But so something to that degree, and everybody has levels of trauma. Even if you live the picture perfect life, a trauma is trauma.
Yeah. Any
kind of problem is some type of trauma in some form or fashion. But no, back to what we were talking about. I mean, no, that they wouldn't have gone. You know, that they didn't talk about their feelings. But men didn't talk about their feelings. Yeah. Women would talk about their feelings amongst other women. At least that's what we were perceived to believe.
Yeah.
If a child would go to their mother and talk about their issues and their problems. Not that Dad wasn't equipped to be able to help me, but again, it goes back to you're only as good as the tools that you have to deal with. So it was a different living environment.
That's what I mean. I think it was just different. I don't think it was just readily available as much as it is now.
No.
And I think they didn't even know what to do with their trauma, and it leaked onto a lot of our generation.
Oh, 100%.
And I think a lot of us, and I'm not speaking for everybody, but a lot of us do better. Now, I'm not one to be like, oh, you need to talk about your feelings. I do like diving deep because it helps me, right? Like I know where my issues come from, and it helps me with my kids. Like I know where my trauma from my parents come from. I basically didn't have a mom and a dad. Right. It's not sour grapes. I've turned out fine.
Yeah.
But I can see the trauma that I went through, and then how I want to make sure it does not repeat. Now, I'm not perfect on it because at my core, I like alcohol. I like things that make me feel good. Mm-hmm. I think that's why I work so much, is to keep me busy because I went through trauma. And I look at, I've learned more about my dad's side of him growing up. I know how my mom grew up. And they just never dealt with their trauma. They both had trauma, and it leaks onto our generation. Of course. And it's, I think we are doing a better job for our kids' generation.
I believe so. I think we are. I would like to think we are.
Oh, I'd like to think you're a pretty good father figure.
Well, according to my son, apparently not. According to him, not. I found out today that I did not, and I'm sorry, I apologize. I did not teach my kids how to tie their shoes. I could have swore that I did, and they were talking about it. My daughter, she ties her shoes the bunny ears away, and I just looked at her. We're walking through Walmart right before we're about to come over here, and I said, "Well, I didn't teach you that way." She goes, "You didn't teach me at all." I'm like, "Fuck, yes, I did. I remember." And I said, "No, I remember teaching you." And she goes, "No, the neighbors across the street at the Riadosa house when we went to go stay with Mimi for the summer did." I said, "Oh," she goes, "I'm sure you probably showed me, but it just didn't happen." I'm like, okay, so yeah, fuck that up. So I looked at Case and I said, "What? At least I taught you." And he goes, "I taught myself." "No, I specifically remember teaching you." And he was like, "No, you didn't." "Yeah, I did." Now, I argue with my son. I argue with him vehemently, like all of the time. Yeah. All of the time. We sit there and butt heads. He is my son.
He is you.
And I love him to death.
So he is you just like you were your father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he goes, "No, you didn't." And I said, "No,
But you show him that emotional.
I do.
You do.
I do. I stay emotionally involved, and I stay emotionally
you have to.
available. And that's, in my opinion, that is the basic core of being a parent, is being available and being emotionally available. You can sit there, pardon me, you can sit there and ride them like a pony all day long. Does you no good. Does them no good. But if they know that you're available, that is a powerful thing, in my opinion. It's a very powerful thing. Yeah. And they may not need you today. They may not need you 2 years from now, 6 months from now, 2 days from now, 20 years from now. But they will need you as long as they know that you're available. Yep. Because eventually we come around, just like I came around to my dad.
Sure.
When I was about 20, 21.
It took you that long?
Took me a long time. Yeah. Took me a very long time.
Well, it took you maturing and understanding.
I matured pretty early.
Yeah.
I had to. Yeah. I had to because Dad kicked me out. He kicked me out at 18.
Some bitch kicked me out.
Yeah, he did, because I didn't clean the kitchen.
You should have cleaned that kitchen, Robert.
Oh, well, I wanted to go out and party. I was on the pussy scavenger hunt, man. I mean, I wanted to go chase girls. I want to go chase girls and drink and go have fun. Dad said, "I need you to clean the kitchen." I said, "I'm going out." And he goes, "Didn't get out of my house." And so I did. So I lived in my truck for 2 weeks.
And you're like, shit.
If it wouldn't have been for that, I'd have never met Lauren, and then I would have never met Whitney, though.
It's all meant to be, man.
It all works out in some form or fashion. But anyways, back to Case. He said, "No," he said, "You didn't teach me." I said, "No, I'm pretty sure I did." And I remember teaching him. I remember showing him, and I remember him getting very frustrated with me.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to take a step back with him. We have a very special relationship because we sit there and rib on each other. It's very much bros.
I've noticed that.
You know, we pick at each other all
great.
the time. It's needling each other all the time.
But that's emotional.
It is.
It's emotional.
My mother, well, let me finish telling you this, and I'll tell you what my mother says. So I said, "Does that make me a bad parent?" Because I didn't teach you how to tie your shoes. He goes, yes. It's like, what? He goes, yeah. So for the rest of the time in Walmart, it was just me making correlation of how I'm just a terrible parent. And I'm sitting here like if this is the parent meter, I'm like all the way over here. So I'll say, I'll do something really good. And so I'm like 2 ticks up right now. So eventually by the time I'm probably 75, I may end up in the green where I'm a really good parent. That's what I'm hoping for.
What you don't even understand, all that's emotionally based.
Oh, 100%.
Like you have an emotional relationship with your son, which is something you didn't have with your dad.
So cries for help.
Yeah.
Cries for help. And my mother says the saying, and I never understood it. Sometimes a soggy potato chip is better than no potato chip at all. Now, do you understand what that means?
Tell me.
Okay. So you don't have any potato chip. So a soggy potato chip is better. A response from, or, getting that soggy potato chip is better than no potato chip.
Sure.
So sometimes getting a bad response is just as good as getting a good response if you're not getting a response at all from the person that you need, whether it's emotionally or physically or whatever.
Yeah.
And she says that, and it used to drive me crazy. God, it'd make me so fucking mad. And I'd tell her, like, why are you saying that? And she goes, because when your son acts out, or when your daughter acts out, or even your spouse, or even your coworkers, or your friends, and they act out at you and they get mad, they're looking for a response from you because you're not giving them a response. They're not getting the response they want. So they'll take any response they can get, whether it's a bad soggy potato chip or a good regular potato chip, because it's better than no potato chip.
Sure.
It took me a long time to understand that. A very, very
how
long
long?
time. A few years, honestly. Yeah. I'm a little slow. I'm a little behind the 8 ball on some things.
I mean, dude, that's intense.
But emotions are hard to understand. I mean, especially growing up with a father who I saw him cry one time.
Yeah.
I never really saw mom cry. I mean, I see her cry every now and then, but that's how we correlate emotions.
Yeah.
We correlate emotions with sadness and crying. I mean, that's emotions. No, fuck that.
There's so many different ways.
There's so many different ways. Happiness.
Yeah.
I didn't see Dad get excited about shit.
Oh, wow.
Except deer hunting.
Yeah.
Deer hunting is what he got excited about, or fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, being outside, being and doing what he wanted to do, or completing a task or a project. I mean, he was, it was that's the way it was.
Yeah.
And so, trying to, I'm not the dancing parent by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not the goofy dad that's going to sit there and dance and be crazy and wild. I'll be crazy and wild, but I'm not going to sit there and dance. That's Whitney. That's Whitney's department. Let her dance around and act a fool, I guess, if that's the word, which it's not. But the dad wasn't that.
Yeah.
So I never really saw him get overly emotional and get really, really excited. He went to my games. He went to my, school functions and stuff like that.
He was there.
I mean, he was available. He was there. He was available.
Yeah. But that shows you the power of emotions, man.
Because he was emotionally available, but he checked out.
Yeah.
He
He wasn't fully emotionally available. He was there.
And I found out later on that he had a lot of regrets due to his alcoholism, because he just wanted to sit there and drink. Now he went to work. He took care of his business. Never really saw him drunk except maybe twice. I mean, shit, my kids have seen me fucked up more times than Cooter Brown. I mean, they've seen it a bunch of times, but
that's how he dealt with his trauma.
That's how he dealt with his trauma, was drinking.
But if you ever questioning if you're doing things right with your kids, you got to look at your kids. Like, how are they? And they're great.
They are. And
Casey and Sophie, they're both doing great. And so that's a reflection of you and your wife.
100%. We have done a good job. They can treat me like a dick. They can be an asshole to me. That's fine. That is okay. But as long as they are out in the world and treating other people with respect. And that's the biggest compliment that I can get. And I get it a lot. Man, we love your kids. We love your daughter. We love your son. They're such good kids. They're so well spoken. They're polite. Okay. Man, maybe I did something right.
You're like, how did I do that?
Yeah, but shit, they treat me like shit, which Sophie doesn't. I mean, daughter's great. Case, he can be a little obtuse sometimes. So can Sophie. I mean, she likes things a certain way, and she can go from 0 to 100 really, really fast as far as on the emotional Richter scale. But that's us. Whitney does that too. Yeah. I do that. I mean, I want to expose our whole family, but you know, at the end of the day, first impressions are everything. Yeah. As long as they make that good first impression, which some people say, oh, well, that's not real. That's not real. You know, fuck you, man. What's real? What's real anymore? You're using AI to come up with an algorithm to figure your shit out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure my shit out by starting to use AI a little bit. Yeah. What is real anymore?
There is no real.
There's no real. Man, I am literally making this shit up as I go. Every single day.
Yeah.
I don't make a schedule.
No.
I fly by the seat of my pants.
How do people look at you? How do they... What do they think of you? And then what are your successes? Like, do you feel good? Are you happy? If all of those things are true, then it's pretty fucking real.
100%. I think when people look at me, they see total chaos sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
especially with work.
They may be like, how do you have the kids you have, but you're a dick? It's like, well, to be honest, I balance pretty fucking well.
I try, you know,
from what I've been through and how I parent, I do pretty good.
We're all making this up as we go.
Yeah.
And there is no playbook. Yeah. You can read every book underneath the sun. You can read every blog underneath the sun and try and figure it out. But you will never, ever, ever be able to 100% figure it out. Because at the end of the day, we're dealing with people. And people can change on a dime.
Yep.
Here's a case in point. Great day. Woke up at 5 o'clock. Not that I wanted to, but I had to go to work today. I go to work. I check my fleet. I do my fleet check. I bullshit with both my sales guys. I talk to a couple other people. I'm driving home. I'm listening to Spotify. I kind of change over to the book. I listen to the book on tape for a little bit. I'm having a great day. I get home. I make myself a bowl of ramen noodles.
Redneck, bro.
I'm telling you. It's a good day. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a great mood. I go to lay down on the couch. I sleep for a couple hours, or an hour and a half or so. I get up, feeling refreshed. And normally when I wake up from a nap, I'm kind of a dickhead. I don't want to be. It's just, it just happens. Whitney's getting ready. She's in the shower. She's out. She's getting done. And I don't even remember what happened. Oh, I ran to the store to buy some beer. And I didn't get the right beer. It's fine. I drink Coors Light. I drink Coors Light and Keystone. That is my go-to. She normally drinks Truly's if she's going to drink but she wanted Michelob Ultra with lime. Okay. I just grabbed Michelob Ultra. I don't drink that shit.
I saw Michelob Ultra with lime in the fridge.
It gives me a headache. Because I don't drink it,
Yeah.
And she goes, why'd you get that? I mean, it was just, and man, set me off. I don't know why. It just pissed me off. And I was in such a good mood.
Yeah.
And so I'm just in a bad mood. I've got a scowl on my face. I'm like, fuck this. I'm just going to go home. We're not going over to David Lawrence. Whatever. And so, I want her to know. I want her to know that I'm in a bad mood. But I'm not going to tell her, So that's where the caveat is, is that I'm not going to tell her I'm in a bad mood. But I want her to see that I'm in a bad mood, right?
That's how we do it.
So she says, I want to go to Sonic. Fine. What's your problem? I don't have one. We get to Sonic. I'll order. Get done. Everybody eats. We're driving. We're coming up here. And she goes, are you still just in a bad mood? Because we can turn around. Nope, we're going. And she goes, I think I was just hangry. There it is. Why do you do that? And so I asked her, I said, why'd you do that? I said, knowing that it's going to put me in a bad mood. Why'd you decide to just be the way you were?
The way you are.
No, I don't want to say that. You don't ever say that. You and I need to talk about the Novotny way.
I have not been married that long. It's been 7 months.
Yeah. So I asked, and she goes, well, I don't know. I was just hangry. I said, okay. I said, all right. And then we got to talking about something else. And within 45 seconds, that anger, it wasn't even anger. It was just being pissed off.
Yeah.
Just mad about fucking nothing. I don't even remember what it was about. It was nothing. It was me being a little bitch. That's the only thing I can equate it to. And it was gone within 45 seconds of me just voicing my opinion of saying, just don't do that, man. When you do that, it puts me in a bad mood.
And her reaction was pretty good, right?
And her reaction was super solid. She goes, okay, I understand. And it was gone. And just like that, lifted. Absolutely
lifted. A tip you're giving me for the Novotnys, just express when you're feeling angry, explain it, and it should be fine within 45 seconds.
Duck and cover, man. Just duck and cover and run. Just
I'm trying, man. It's tough, man. It's great. No, it's great. It's weird to be able to call you my brother-in-law because I've never lived this domesticated lifestyle. Like, I've been living the bachelor lifestyle way too long.
Long time.
But now, after 5 to 6 years, I mean, we've been together since 2020, 2021, and we've lived in here since 2021. And so I love it. It's such a different life, dude. And I see, and this is kind of what I want to wrap it up on. It's impressive to see you, because I've heard stories of how everybody grew up and your friends in Abilene. And it's like it's almost similar on my side, where I had a lot of hardcore friends. Like, I was drawn to the friends that were degenerates, like the alcoholics of the school. Now I look at them, there's a couple of them that are dead, and some of them that are doing well and some of them that aren't. But I understand why I was drawn to that crowd, and I understand it was rough. And to be where I am now, I realize how good it is to be where I am now, domesticated for my kids, like especially for Alex.
Of course.
So when I had Alex after my ex, it was just me and him in a one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
We had no structure, and I didn't even think of that. And, I would date around a little bit, but I didn't really have anybody to introduce him to, so I never introduced him to any girls. And I just look at the lifestyle then, and I look at it now, and it's a similar lifestyle to what you have.
Yeah.
So for me to sit here and have a brother-in-law, it's like, it sounds fucking weird to say.
It's a little strange, yeah.
But I've always respected you, because I'm like, dude, I just feel so chill around Robert. Like, I feel like I don't have to walk on eggshells with him, because you're kind of what my friends used to be.
I'm a DJ. I'm the DJ.
They're degenerates. They're, volatile. You never know what they're going to say, but you have your shit together. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I have somebody here that's not going to judge me.
No.
Because I'm not a square by any means, but I'm in it. I love the lifestyle now, and I really respect it. And I understand that the Novotnys, as crazy as they are a good anchor for me.
They are. Bob and Terry, who's our in-laws, our mother and father-in-law. They're great people, and they've done a fabulous job of raising Whitney, Lauren, and Aaron. I mean, they've done an amazing job, and they've molded them into fabulous people. Lauren and I we've gotten into it before. We butted heads more than once.
Get it?
Whitney and I, we butt heads all the time. Aaron's the only one I've ever gotten along with.
Really?
All the time.
That's funny.
He got onto me one, and that's because I got onto his dog a long time ago in San Antonio. And he said, don't do that to my dog. That was the only problem we ever had. That and when I lived with him. I lived with him for about 4 months. Right. I lived with him about 4 months, and I was upstairs in his house.
With Aaron?
Yeah. So we lived in Abilene, and then we moved down here. But before we moved down here, in February of 2016, I took another job, and we wanted the kids to finish school in Abilene. So I traveled back and forth, and I lived with Aaron for about 4 or 5 months.
Oh wow!
And I got a little loud playing video games one night. He was like, "Hey, could you keep it down?" Absolutely. It's the only problem I ever had.
Oh wow!
Absolutely.
That's pretty good.
Aaron's the only one.
That's pretty good. When you live with somebody, man, it's things you don't even think about can become a problem.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But no, Bob and Terry have done a great job raising them, and it shows, because it shows in our kids. It shows in Gage. It shows in Alex.
Yeah.
And we don't come from. I don't come from a blended family. Neither does Lauren and Whitney. I mean, so this is, you and Lauren are kind of the first go around with this, and I think y'all are doing a splendid job. Yeah. I mean, Gage is respectable. Alex is respectable.
Great. And it hasn't been easy, and it's things I never thought of. Never thought of, and I'm sure a lot of people deal with this. But in a blended family, you have different rules that you're coming in, or maybe with me, I had no rules where Lauren had rules, and it's like, you know, you don't want one kid to resent the other, and it's very difficult, but very rewarding if you can figure out a way.
It's a fine line balance from what I can tell. I mean, I'm around a lot of people that have come from, I don't want to use the term broken homes, because that sounds bad.
Negative.
It's very negative.
It's America, man. Things happen.
Yeah. I mean, shit happens, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that is the term, unfortunately. So yeah, I deal with a lot of people that come from those places, and watching that and seeing that, it's like, man, how do they figure that shit out?
Yeah.
And I could only imagine, because I can only imagine Lauren has to walk a fine line with Alex, because not only is she having to deal with you, she's also having to deal with your ex, which I can't remember her name off top of my head. Allie. She's having to deal with Allie too. So they have to communicate on some form or fashion.
Yep.
You know, and then you have to deal with Gage and Lauren and her ex. So that is a troubling, I don't want to say troubling. Troubling sounds so negative.
It can be, but
it can be, and it can be an issue, and I can see where it can be an issue, and it can cause a lot of heartache and discontent.
yeah.
So I told Whitney, you know, I mean, which we've had our issues. Well, you know, I mean, I'd be a fool not to say that. After 24 years, 23 years of being
Because you're normal
together,
people.
we're normal people. You know, I'm an asshole. You know, I don't mean to be an asshole, but apparently I'm a great one. You know, but she's picture perfect. She
Oh,
is.
yeah.
She's 100%,
That's how it works.
100%. Just like Lauren.
Princess.
But, absolutely. You know, shame on you, Bob and Terry. But I've told her, I said, hey, you're never getting rid of me. Not when it comes, not ever, because I don't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. And luckily, you know, we're in a fabulous spot. I've made some boneheaded decisions with work, you know, and dealt with some lawsuits and stuff to where, man, it's become devastating in our house. And she has been a rock, you know, a great support system for me.
That's great.
When I make those boneheaded decisions, and it's working through your shit.
But that's life.
It is. It is.
So one thing I've learned, and now that we're getting older, is like I'm seeing other people that are older than me, so probably 50s and 60s. And because I deal with the public and a lot of people, different people, I'll see people in their 50s and 60s that are happy, that are together, that have done it right, that have a strong family. And then I see people who live the bachelor lifestyle and never got a clue of, or never just got domesticated. They just never found that one. And you don't have to find that one, but you got to change your lifestyle at a certain point.
Yeah.
And they're sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been talking about this a lot lately because I see it.
Yep.
And I don't want to be it. And I realize right now what I have is so special.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just because of Lauren. Lauren's great.
Right.
But I have to earn that too. So it's two things. It's a team.
Yes.
And it's so much healthier for our kids
100%.
than if I was just lonely going from one woman to another and just to another or whatever, a bachelor lifestyle. And then me and Alex are just alone. And now we have a family, and there's challenges there, but some of those challenges, once you overcome them, they really set you up for a lifetime of success.
Oh, 100%.
And it's like with this family, I always remember, I'm like, Lauren, Gage, and Alex, they're my foundation. I may want to go out to the bar because that's my norm from back in the day. I just want to go to the bar, hang out, not worry about anything, get away from work. And then now, at this point in my life, I don't want to touch the bar. I don't want to even jeopardize anything because there's so much stability.
Yeah.
Stability
And consistency.
And no matter how much crap we got to put up with, which they have to put up with crap too, it's all worth it.
Not like we do.
We're perfect.
Not like we, exactly.
We're perfect. And dude, try working with your spouse.
Hell no.
Yeah, don't do it.
I'm not going to ever. No. I did. So when I worked at another tire company, Whitney would come up and guest spot and help out for like temp work, and everybody would ask, "Isn't that weird?" And it's like, no, I never saw her, because I have my job.
Oh, that's
to do.
yeah.
I've got my shit to do. What you're doing, absolutely not.
It was tough. It's gotten better, but it was a challenge. And then so you try working with each other. living with each other and trying to show the emotional, love to one another. Blended family, and then Dancing with the Stars, bro. Dancing with it. And that's the podcast me and Lauren want to have eventually when she's ready. Oh man, that was honestly, that was a relationship tester.
I can imagine.
We got through that, and then we decided to get married.
Right. Hey, well, I mean, if you can make it through that, I mean, it was awesome. Like we watched the videos, and we saw. I wish we could have made it, but that looked like it was tough.
It was the hardest thing. Just like, so back in my day when I played football, it really was at the beginning, because I was such a pansy going into football, like at that age, it toughened me up, and I got friends, got my ass kicked. So I knew how, I got tough skin. Dancing with the Stars in my later life actually helped prepare me for everything. Like, I feel like I could do anything now because I don't fucking dance. Like, that's the worst thing I could do. And I still got up there with her, and then, she's a perfectionist, so it was just really hard.
No, I can imagine.
But it was great.
No, I mean, and you did it together.
Yeah.
And that's the major thing.
We overcame a challenge together, and it was great for a great cause.
No, absolutely. So. Absolutely. Especially if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, it's one thing to go to the club and, dance and bump and grind, but when you're talking about doing whatever dance y'all did, I mean,
salsa dancing. Don't look at my skin and think that's easy.
Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna say
that was the hardest fucking thing.
I accept the fact that you don't know how to salsa dance, but you do now.
I could probably fake hip hop more than I could salsa, bro.
But it's you did it together. And that's the main thing. And learning to accept your partner and learning to adapt to your partner. I mean, that's key. That's key, and especially when it comes to doing a major challenge like that.
Hell yeah.
I can only imagine. I mean, shit, again, we're all just trying to figure it out.
Trying to make it through life.
That's all we're doing.
No, but this has been great, dude.
No,
so we'll end it right there, and I appreciate your time. My first father-in-law, or my first brother-in-law, I can't even say it right because I've been drinking a little bit. But I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And we'll do it again.
No, definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely. Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, let's end it there.
All right.